The mountain environment is worlds apart from that of the plains. Here there's sufficient moisture for moss to survive, and even to create interesting abstract art on the rocks. The fierce heat in the lowlands, especially in summer, causes huge evaporation problems for the succulents. But here, high up, it's generally wetter and cooler, and suits them better in their efforts to conserve the water they've already managed to collect. They seem happy to make friends with the dampness of the moss. There's a lot that we, as humans, can learn from the succulents. They've mastered the art of economy, especially with regard to collecting and saving water. They've learned how to endure adverse conditions, and as far as we know, stoically suffer in silence without making a fuss about it. They take advantage of whatever nature provides for them. As we saw earlier, if succulents are lucky enough to end up with their roots in channels and depressions where water is likely to collect, or where there is runoff from the surrounding rocks, they have a better chance of surviving than plants that are in the dry. And by learning to live side by side with their neighbors, they often benefit by getting greater protection from the sun and the wind, and perhaps being less vulnerable to predators than when they're on their own. Getting away from the desert sun for even part of the day greatly reduces the evaporation that these small plants have to endure. In the end, the downside of being a plant is that you're rooted to the spot where you were born. If you're out in the sun, the best you can hope for is that some of your seeds will be carried by the wind to a place, perhaps more in the shade, where they can cope more easily with the extremes of the desert environment. But plants that are out in the open have to try and provide some kind of protection for themselves. The hair that some of them develop to improve their water harvesting ability, as we saw earlier, now comes in useful as insulation that helps to protect them from the heat of the sun, and creates a layer of still air next to their skin which helps to reduce evaporation. Others produce a kind of waxy layer as their leaves dry out during the summer. This reflects away some of the sun's desiccating rays and helps to protect the new leaves hidden beneath them. The outer leaves sometimes sacrificing themselves till conditions are right for the new life to emerge in the next growing season. Evolution is constantly on the move, probing and testing the boundaries, searching for better survival strategies than those currently in place. In this respect, the desert areas of southern Africa are a living laboratory where, on a miniature scale, an ongoing arms race is being played out between tiny succulent plants on the one side and the harsh climatic elements that surround them on the other. In deserts, if you're a succulent, summer is the time for hiding away. Winter is the time for showing off. When the flower season comes, all the survival questions are finally answered. What worked and what didn't?